In this video, I talk about how to transport your recumbent bike. I brought a couple different bike racks to show you and a couple different recumbent bikes to demonstrate, as well as a mountain bike. So we'll talk about the different ways you can transport your bike from my experience. So I'll pass along those tips, and hopefully that's beneficial to you as you shop for a bike rack for yourself. Okay, at this point I've got the bikes already loaded, so what I'll do is unload them and show you each of the bikes and some of the differences between them, and how they might apply to a recumbent bike of your own. And then I'll demonstrate them on a couple different bike racks, and I'll talk about some options from my experience. All right, I just want to say that there are a lot of different bike racks on the market, lots of different options and configurations and ways to fasten your bike to them. And there are a lot of different recumbent bikes. I focus on two-wheeled recumbent bikes in my content, and this video is no exception to that. But even with two-wheeled recumbent bikes, there are lots of different variations in the frame, and where the seat is, and if there's adjustments and handlebars and all sorts of things. So just know that there are other variations that I just can't cover in this video, and but you can take some of the knowledge that you're going to get from this and apply it to those where applicable. All right, my first bike, cruise bike S40. And a few things to point out with regard to transporting a bike like this. We've got a front wheel drive on this recumbent bike. So we've got the pedals up front, driving a front wheel. So this bike will pivot here at this point. And we've got a curved frame right here with a stationary seat, meaning that the seat will not adjust backward or forward. It's just it's mounted in there, and you can see how the frame extends to the back tire here. So it's probably a little front heavy, so meaning like most of the weight is up this way versus towards the back. So cruise bike S40. All right, and here's the second bike, my wife's Bashetta Giro 20. And you can see that it is a rear wheel drive. So like a lot of recumbent bikes out there, we have a rear wheel drive, and you'll see how, does the chain get in the way of transporting? We're not sure. Let's see how that goes. And we have an adjustable seat, so that seat will adjust forward and backwards along the frame, and it can cinch down. But we've got the handlebars up here, and we've got a seat up here as well. So that's the Bashetta Giro 20. Thirdly, we want to show you this mountain bike. It's a full suspension mountain bike, my wife's, and I just brought it just to show you how a recumbent bike compares to transporting maybe a more standard frame bike like this one. So we'll show this along the way as well. Now let's talk about bike racks. There are three main style of bike racks on the market. You've got a tray style, you've got a hanging style, and then you have the vertical style. Now I have two of the three, And so hopefully that will be very helpful for you. This is the tray style. So it kind of holds the bikes from the bottom. So you insert the wheels of the bikes in these here, and then you got these arms that hold the bike down into place. And then you have the hanging style. So this end goes into the hitch receiver on my vehicle, and then the bikes hang from this horizontal bar right here, and they get strapped in. So you can see how these two different bike racks take very different approaches to holding your bike to your vehicle, and we'll demonstrate those now. Okay, I'm intentionally starting with the hanging style bike rack, and you'll see some of the challenges with this one. Okay, let's see how it goes putting the cruise bike on this. Okay, so I'm looking at the frame. I'm just trying to determine the best way to place this bike up here. And so we could try using this spot here and maybe somewhere back here. Let's see how that goes. But then this swings, so that's not good. So let's just put the frame this way. Just try to use the frame. That's the best way so far. I think I have to do more things to secure the front wheel because it's still wanting to move. So this strap is having a hard time reaching all the way around this frame, and there's actually not a great place. Well, it looks like I can just clear the seat mount right here, and here's this. Yeah, that wheel wants to move. I'm having a hard time getting this strap around the frame. So this is the situation. What I could do is probably strap this wheel back to the frame, and then that would keep it from wanting to swing back and forth. So I think I would do something like that, but I'm not super happy with that. I think I would have to also apply some bungee right here, wrap some bungee or some sort of straps around here and here, because the straps that come with the bike rack aren't long enough. Okay, so here's a close-up. Here are the concerns I have with this this setup. Is this front wheel is kind of the heaviest part of the bike, and it's got a mind of its own right now. So I tried just kind of wrapping or tying a string there, which is what I kind of use on if I take my my mountain bike on this rack or a road bike. So this is something I would want to secure a little better so that it doesn't swing. And then here's a close-up of the strap and how it's really not secure enough. So I would have to continue securing this, but in a pinch, I think this would work. I think these mounts on the bike rack, these are rubber mounts. I think they do a good job of kind of keeping the bike in place. So I think it would work in a pinch, but I wouldn't want to go far or on rough roads on this. All right, now the Bachetta. that feels fairly secure from a frame perspective. It's the frame sits in there quite nicely. So let's try to get that cinched down. Just getting the strap. The strap seems to get there just fine. Just got to deal with the balance. Yeah, the strap will reach. Okay, so what I notice is it's sitting there quite nicely, except there's still some top heaviness to a Bashetta on this bike rack. And I knew this was going to happen because I remember when I bought my Bashetta Giro 20 that I had the same issue of the top being kind of wanting to tip. So as you can see, if you're going down the road, just kind of flopping. I mean, is that going to fall off? I don't think so. I think you could, you know, obviously continue with bungee or other straps to secure it even better. But I don't know, that's kind of, it's just kind of not balanced. All right, here's a close-up of the Bashetta in the rack. So you can see that I was able to secure these, the frame into these mounts pretty well, and the straps were plenty long. And you'll also see that just with a little pressure, the bike wants to tip, and it will stop tipping at one point, but I mean, I just don't think that's balanced and secure. So it's a bit challenging on this hanging style bike rack. Again, I think if in a pinch, this will get your bike, you know, some distance. But I would want to put additional straps on here to secure it, or stabilize it in some additional ways, like I did, and that was a strap from the tire down to the bottom here. It still tips the bike, but at least it's secured and in place. So not thrilled with this situation either, but here's the Bashetta Giro 20 on a hanging bike rack. All right, now the mountain bike. All right, a little close-up on the mountain bike, on the hanging bike rack. So this is what the hanging bike rack is kind of made for, are a little more standard bike frames. Now you can see like a full suspension mountain bike like this has some different geometry actually than a standard straight top tube. So you could see that I had to modify that. So normally this bike rack would hold, you know, the bike at the top tube here, and then at the top tube over here as well. So so it'd be just the top tube and then the rest of the bike hanging down. But I kind of put the bike on this tube here, so down tube, I think. So it's kind of made for that. The bike is nice and balanced in there. The only thing is the front wheel does have some flop. Now what I do is I just have this, I just use the string I showed you a little earlier, and I just tie this front bike tire to the frame. So just some light pressure there just keeps it straight. Any kind of bungee or something like that would be perfect. So I'll actually demonstrate that now. All right, here we go. So yeah, just with some sort of way to secure that. You can see that the bike doesn't flop around too much at all. All right, for the tray bike rack, the first bike I'll try is the cruise bike once again. All right, close up on the cruise bike, on the tray style bike rack. Nice and solid. So you can see where this video is going. The tray bike rack is the way to go for at least the cruise bike S40. So, I mean, we've got the mechanics of this is the wheels sit into these brackets here, and you can see you know, there's no way the wheel is going to fall through this bracket here. So it's resting on this support here, as well as, you know, just the metal of this bracket. As well, it's strapped in with Velcro, so this is a nice tight situation. And then thirdly, we have this arm that clamps down onto the frame. So, and it's padded, and it cinches down and grabs this support. So there's no moving this up unless you trigger this lever here. So it makes for a nice secure situation. All right, now for the Beshetta Giro 20 on the tray bike rack. So the thing I'm looking for is just to make sure I'm clearing the other bike, that there's nothing hitting each other. And the next thing I do is set the wheels in here, and the spacing is nice, and then I cinch this down as well. All right, so back here. And the straps on the tires. Another close-up on the Beshetta Giro 20 on the tray style bike rack. So again, the same mechanics are in play as with the Cruise Bike S40. These wheels are strapped in. They're strapped into these brackets here. You can see even a 20-inch wheel fits nicely into this Hollywood rack. And then this is the larger 26-inch. So it is also sitting securely in there and strapped in. As well, we have the bracket pinching down. Now, here's an important piece to my setup. Given the height of this bike compared to this bike, the cruise bike is secured by this bracket here, you know, with this hook. So I couldn't move this bracket any further down. So what I do is I further secure this with a strap. And so I feel, you know, this isn't this doesn't seem to be going anywhere, but when I really want to be sure, I strap this in to the bike rack itself. So I feel like that is a good solution in my case. All right, so some tips. As you can tell from this video so far, I do recommend the tray style bike rack for recumbent bikes. You can see that it works for these 26-inch wheels. We've got a cruise bike, it's front wheel drive, it's got a curved frame and things like that. And then you've got the Bashetta Giro 20, which probably represents another big frame design in the market. You can see that works really well in a tray bike rack as well. But a few tips. I would say you have to, one trick is to make sure that each bike is positioned far enough back. So that means I had to move these brackets here further along the bike rack right here. So these can move forward and backward. So you can see I had to do that, and you can see that this one is quite a ways to the back, and that was necessary so that I could that this middle point here where the brackets are can secure onto the frame and not be impeded by a seat. So I had to move the bike back along the bike rack. And so likewise, you can see that the cruise bike, it is also moved to the back. And so you can see that its back wheel is towards the end of the bike rack also, so that I could secure it and clear the seat. All right, and finally I wanted to talk about transporting a recumbent bike in a truck. Now this has the 5-foot bed, so pretty short bed. I can fit a bike back here, so there's nothing wrong with just putting a bike back here diagonally and resting it on its side. And you want to make sure it's in a place where it's not going to scratch the frame and all that stuff. So okay, so you may have seen mountain bikes being transported in the bed of a truck where the front wheel kind of drapes over the back of the tailgate here as the wheel is turned. So it's kind of laying like this, and then the back of the bike just kind of lays in there, and actually it's a pretty secure position. So I kind of tried that with the cruise bike, but there's not quite enough clearance here between the wheel and then the frame. Something with the curve of this and just the, I don't know, geometry of this area here. I really wanted that to work, and it sort of worked, but it was kind of really laying on its side, and then it didn't really fit like a mountain bike would. And again, the mountain bike's got more clearance here, and I think that's what makes it work. There's just more clearance, and then the tailgate kind of fits in there as this wheel is positioned like this. So it kind of sits in over the back of the tailgate like that, and I think it just works. But yeah, so hopefully you found this video helpful. I have two different recumbent bikes with very popular geometries, and I demonstrated those on two different bike racks, two very popular styles of bike racks. And of course, like I said earlier, there's so many offerings on the market that your mileage may vary, but hopefully you were able to apply a lot of these demonstrations to your recumbent bike, or the recumbent bike you want to buy, and the bike rack you have, or the bike rack you want to buy. And until next time, talk to you later.